So there's a Group A table, and well, Paris Saint-Germain clearly, emphatically beat Real Madrid this evening. So Real Madrid, the record holders in terms of winning this trophy, beaten comfortably in the end, Ria. Despite the fact, of course, that PSG had their three big stars missing.
Yeah, and the manager Tuchel, he'll be thinking to himself, now listen, we saw last season when this happened, when they had them players out, the same three players, two of them were out a number of times, and they look better at times because it seems like the squad comes together, the team pulled together, and there seems to be a different intensity. They're sharper, they seem more hungrier. When the superstars play, it's almost like them guys get to kind of chill when they haven't got the ball. When they have got it, they come alive. And teams that are going to win this type of competition, you can't carry people. No. And that's one of the things they've got to adjust and they've got to get right within their squad. Yeah. The mentality.
Impressed by PSG, Glenn?
Yeah, I was actually. I thought that, you know, the way they zipped the ball around, they had a nice balance to their game. Defensively, as Rio said, they worked hard for each other. And I think that's what you've got to do when you're playing against top sides. But very disappointed in Madrid, I've got to say. There's, you know, Hazard and Bale. Bale second half disappeared. First half he did all right, but Hazard at the moment as well has got to up his game.
He's coming back from injuries.
Yeah, to be fair to him.
So.
Yeah, but he's still doesn't look you know, happy there, does he, at the moment?
Yeah, well, very much in transition, I think. Real Madrid. You know, they've had years of glory, particularly in this competition, of course.
So disappointing tonight, though. Yeah. You know, right from the start. I mean, Bale was a shining light in the first half. He disappeared, as Glenn said. But I do think they missed Modric. I think I mean, he's top player, as we know. But I think he holds it together in midfield. I think Cruz was disappointing as well tonight. Hazard, obviously, watching him at Chelsea, is one of the top 5 players in the world. But tonight he was...
certainly looked rusty, didn't he?
He did. And I know at Chelsea, obviously he was the main man and everyone's giving him the ball from everywhere. And he won't get that in Madrid until he sort of earns it, really.
Yeah. It's kind of different challenge for a player, isn't it, for someone like Hazard, who's been like a kind of kingpin at Chelsea for so long. Suddenly going to a huge club, it's a step up.
Yeah, and we were talking off air, and Glenn mentioned it, he was quite right in that when you go to a new club, especially the size of Real Madrid, you've got to earn the right to be the man that gets to all the ball, that you look to first, you look to that talisman first. He's got to do something in the training games, in the actual games that he plays, that people go, actually, we need to play in the ball. But I'm fearful for him, really, that he's gone there at the wrong time. Yeah. This is a team that's ageing. This is a team that seems like they're not on their way up. They're not got much spark about them at the moment, and that's going to affect him. And it's going to reflect, I think, badly on him maybe in the long term.
And also, they made quite a few signings in the summer. Sometimes it's not easy just to integrate all those players.
Have you got time?
I was surprised that Hazard and Bale, sort of, the rotation wasn't there. You look at Madrid and they've got a free-flowing rotation of a front three, normally, whoever it is. Hazard played out on the left, Bale played on the right. They were pretty much playing in straight lines. Rigid. And that's easier to defend against. And they've got to think about that.
There was no combination at all between Hazard and Bale at all. I thought Paris had another gear in them, really. And that's Real Madrid. That shouldn't be happening.
Di Maria, obviously the star man, two wonderful goals, really. One a team effort and one an individual effort.
Yeah, no, I think he was, first half especially, he was fantastic. I mean, he still frustrates you with the amount of balls he gives away, but when he's doing things like this and producing moments like this, then you accept that. But today I thought in the first half he was clinical. He got in, when he got there, he executed fantastically well. I think the centre-half has got to come across there and stop that.
Yeah, he's got to get across early, he's got to read it. Keeper should do better as well, really. You can't get beat on the near post like that. But
this was a bit tasty.
This is tasty, isn't it?
Yes. I have to say, Idrissa Gueye, he was unbelievable today, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
He was saying how good he was. He dominated the midfield.
I've seen him at Everton. I've always thought he looks a really good player. But he showed more today. His awareness, received the ball off the defenders. Anywhere he received the ball on the pitch today, he looked comfortable, brought other people into the game. And he just looked like he'd been there for years and looked like he was accustomed to playing at this level. He looked fantastic.
It was 3-0 right at the final whistle to Meunier, and there was a nice bit of kind of cool play in front of goal there, Peter.
Oh, it was intricate. It was lovely. The awareness, obviously, considering both of those players probably aren't usually as high up as that. I thought the awareness and the finish as well was sublime.
Here it is.
He starts to move, Meunier.
He's lipsing wins here. Keeps going.
But that's Madrid at the moment. Look, they end up look, 2v2.
This little bit of awareness here, though, in the finish. Superb.
I think the only problem with that goal really was cutting to the to the fourth official on the sideline for the minute halfway through the league, just to show you how many minutes of extra time they're going to play.
That was a great finish. Two fullbacks combining to score a goal.
Yeah. Gareth Bale was the only player looked like doing anything in the first half for Real Madrid. We all thought he kind of disappeared in the second half. But it's an interesting situation with Gareth Bale, isn't he? It looked like he was going to leave, now he's staying. The whole situation at Real Madrid looks...
Yeah, I mean, he's had a terrible summer in terms of the media attention and the negativity that was surrounding him, and the manager not really coming out and backing him at the start until he almost had to, he was forced to. So, and he seems like he has something to prove, even though he's won 3 back-to-back Champions Leagues. like. He shouldn't have anything to prove.
Do you think he's been unfairly treated by 100%. Both Zidane and the fans?
I feel
it's
disrespectful the way that they've treated him. He's been someone who's played a pivotal role in them winning them big trophies while he's been there, and he hasn't. The respect hasn't been shown in the way back. And I find it kind of hard to fathom. I don't understand how it's got to that point.
I mean, he's had some wonderful performance in big games for them over the years.
Huge games. I mean, he's won the lot there, and I think he deserves a little bit more respect than he's getting. And even in the first half, you could see who else are they going to play ahead of Bale? Really, I think he's a top player, and he deserves to be starting games, and he deserves to be treated with a little bit more respect.
And he was the only one today, really, who showed anything. First half, he was the one they looked to. He's the one that kind of was going to pull some bit of magic out of his hat to get them going. He had a free kick just over the bar. But
the only problem I did have with Madrid was the heads went down. It was they just lost appetite. There was no one giving them the kick.
What a goal this would have been.
They're just
for that flick on the arm, Glenn.
They're just doing enough at the moment.
Ruling it out.
Yeah, I think they've got to rule that one out. But look, what a goal that would have been if it's a target. But they had no one really going out on a limb. There was no one out there for Madrid that said, look, I'm going to get hold of this game and have the desire to go and turn the game round at 2-0, 1-0 down. It was just, well, I'll leave it to you, I'll leave it to you. There was no venom in their play.
Do you know what, as well? I heard a few people come out in the media when Ronaldo left, players, saying that, oh, maybe I'll get a chance to shine now and whatnot. I bet they'd like to have him back there and go in the shadows a little bit more and let him take the spotlight.
Is it difficult, do you think, as a player, when you feel a little bit underappreciated, like perhaps Gareth Bale does at the moment? It's quite hard to perform at your best under those circumstances, isn't it?
It seems to me that he gets getting a bit of stick off the crowd and things like that as well. And I think when he's done what he has done at a football club, he deserves a little bit more. And I think, of course, he's got to get his head around that. He's at a massive club and he's got to perform every week. But if he's not scoring massive numbers like Ronaldo was, then he obviously will be compared
the critics will say, look, he's earning a fortune. Why should he worry about it? Just get on with it.
Yeah, but what we've been saying earlier about Hazard's got to earn the respect of that new team he's gone to. Bale surely has earned that respect of what he's done over the years.
Especially from the guy over your shoulder there, Zinedine Zidane. I mean, obviously there's been a little bit of a fallout there.
Yeah, he's out there. He doesn't look happy. He looks like he's playing for himself. And there's too many of them for Real Madrid that look like they're playing for themselves, that they're not really playing as a team collectively for the club.
Could this be PSG's year?
No.
I had a feeling you'd say that.
We say it every year.
You say they beat Real Madrid 3-0 without, the big three.
Listen, the circus act that's going on with Neymar, that's a distraction, 100%. I think some of them will sit there and think we're probably better without some of them superstars. I think Mbappe's a fantastic player. You would love to see him in your team. Cavani, the ultras behind the goal, they love him there.
Neymar don't like Neymar at the moment.
At the moment, no, but he's going to have to go some to actually get these fans back on side now.
I'm going to test your memory now, Peter. Seems like a long time ago, that Tottenham game. But, Spurs had that in the bag, really, and let it slip, didn't they?
They did, but it was somewhat fortunate, really. I thought Olympiacos started the game better. I thought the penalty was against the run of play, really. It went 2 up. And then they've probably at the back of their mind, they had that Arsenal game probably at the back of their mind. And they've let them back into it. But it was what Olympiacos deserved, I think. They weren't quite at the races today, Tottenham. Yeah.
It's early days, of course, in the Champions League. You can't read too much into these early results. And they'd probably take a draw away, given the other sides in the group.
They would have done, but obviously at 2-0 up, it's when you think you're going to acquire the 3 points that you want. I think their game management, Maurizio was saying there, the game management at 2-0 up against Arsenal and 2-0 up today, that's a concern for the manager. You can see that. They've got to find a way of getting through that period of time, don't concede, and they'll end up winning them games. And that's a bit more professional, that's a bit more collectiveness as a team and having a theme when you are winning. You know, don't just keep playing open football. Spurs were too open today.
You need a plan.
Yeah, you need
Exactly. Got to plan those things prior to the game.
Hold on
to do
to
it
what
during a match.
Hold on to what you've got, and that's something I think he's going to have to work on.
Is that something you had, particularly at Manchester United, in those games that you grind out away from home?
Yeah, away from home in Europe, no matter where you went, you'd never disrespect the opponents and think, oh, this is a gimme. You'd go there and you'd be solid, and you'd aim to be solid throughout the game and know that you've got the attacking prowess to actually punish them. Yeah. And when you get them moments in the game, take them. And you take a 1-0 all day long, and you just be compact, you be calm, and you just use your experience to just guide your way through them games. And at the moment, there doesn't seem to be anyone in the team that says they're steering the ship in them moments for them.
They're not an inexperienced side in the Champions League now, though, are they? So they can't really use that as an excuse. Not a bit of naivety.
Not at all. It's a team full of internationals, so there's no naivety there. I just think Olympiacos played very, very well, and they weren't quite at it. It was only Ben Davies in the first half for the Mourago that actually stepped in and wanted to press people. They weren't getting close to people, and Olympiacos have punished them for that.
Well, we had to wait for an English team to win. It wasn't the game that was on 3HD, of course, because we did the Spurs game. We had no time to preview that game properly. But Manchester City won comfortably away at Shakhtar Donetsk.
Yeah, and that's a tricky place to go. We mentioned that before in the preview to the games. But I think an important point for him as well is after getting beat against Norwich at the weekend, and also Fernandinho going into the back line and looking comfortable. I think it's very important for the coming weeks going forward, because John Stones is injured as well, and it's going to be a huge couple of weeks for them, really, to kind of make sure they don't fall into a period of where they're not picking up the points they need to stay with Liverpool.
Given the fact that City are now a little bit light at the back, do you think he'll perhaps change his tactics ever so slightly and not?
I don't think he will, actually, Gary. I think his philosophy is, right, if we're a bit fragile defensively, we'll keep the ball even more.
Yeah.
And if you've got the ball, you don't have to defend. It was just, it's just today. They were too good for Donetsk at the end of the day. I'd like to have seen the young lad Foden play, but he didn't get his opportunity. That worries me as an Englishman for the youngster coming through, because I think he's a real player, not getting his chances now. But they've got such a strong squad. I think it's going on the front foot. How they play offensively is what he's always going to look at.
Looking back to yesterday, we watched Liverpool, obviously a defeat at Napoli. They lost at Napoli in last season's group stage and went on to win the thing. So they shouldn't be too concerned.
No, I wouldn't be too concerned with that. I still think they'll get through the group comfortably. They've got enough. Napoli's a difficult place to go. They found that last year. It's like a bit of a bogey team, seems to be. But like you say, they went on and won it last year. So I've got no problem with them this year.
It's experience, though, isn't it? Again, it's experience, is being able to navigate yourself through a group stage. Yeah, I thought that was a pen. It could look soft at certain angles when it's slowed down, but
this one
he didn't need to make.
It doesn't look a pen on that angle, but he pushed his leg into it.
He didn't need to put his leg out there and give the referee a chance. He got to it, but not strong enough.
Fabinho was impressive in that game. I was impressed by him. I think he played really well.
Yeah, it'll be important for Liverpool to bounce back. Obviously, the next game is at home to Salzburg, and well, they've got that youngster that's banging in the goals, Haaland, Alfinger Haaland's son, haven't they? Have to watch him.
Yeah, there's a bit of they won't know much about him, but obviously seeing the young lad come in and score them goals, and he scored 17 goals I think already this season. So he's trying to make a name for himself, and it'd be a big ask for him to go and do the same again against Liverpool.
You were at Stamford Bridge last night, Glenn?
Yeah.
How did Chelsea play?
Bit concerning, actually. They play. I've said it all season so far. They play in spells. They can only play with intensity for 20 minutes, and they come off it for 20 minutes. Keep conceding during that time. And Valencia were excellent. They were the better side and deserved the win.
And they've been struggling.
Overall.
Obviously, they changed the manager and everything.
Yeah, they've had all sorts of turmoil. It's a really cute little free kick. Look on the blind, great little run. Gets his Rodrigo played excellent. They were very canny with their set plays. Corners were clever. That was a nice little set play, and all night they looked dangerous.
And well, they got a penalty, didn't they, courtesy of VAR, and then there was strange goings on here. Barkley was apparently the designated penalty taker. Frank Lampard said that after the game, but he had a kind of face-off with
hang on,
Willian.
I don't know about that, because designated penalty taker, he was on the bench.
Yeah.
He came on. You don't
But
have
if he comes on,
well,
I would imagine if Ronaldo started on the bench and came on, he'd take it.
Well, I don't know. Jorginho scored a penalty last week.
But it put pressure on him, and it put pressure on himself. And
I think William put pressure on him more than anything.
Exactly.
The way he was standing in his face, it was not...
Who, in those circumstances, when something like that happens, Peter, who is in the wrong?
Well, I think you've got to designate your penalty taker. If it's not designated...
Well, Frank Lampard said after the game that he is the penalty taker.
If that's correct, then William's in the wrong.
Yeah.
For me, I'm with Glenn. I mean, how he can be a penalty taker when he's only just come on the pitch, I don't know. But if he is, then what William's doing is bang out of order.
Rio,
I think he had pressure on the penalty take. I mean, Ross Barkley is there anyway. I think he's under a little bit of pressure to cement himself in his team anyway. And them hanging around, hovering around the penalty spot, almost staying, and then Jorginho coming over as well. I think it just adds to an already pressurised situation. And it wasn't good. It wasn't good viewing anyway. It would have been really very hard viewing, I'm sure, looking back for him, for Frank on the sidelines as well.
If he's designated penalty taker, you better tell the other two then.
Yeah,
because then what are they doing going over and talking to him? You know.
Yeah.
So we've seen that again this season with United.
And two teams that lost, Chelsea, Liverpool, meet at the weekend. Big game for them both, naturally.
Yeah, huge game. Yeah. I mean, Liverpool want to carry on with their form. 5 points clear, are they now? I think if they continue that form,
we've seen everyone play, more or less. Who's going to win it this year? I forgot to ask you tips at the start. So now's the perfect time. I haven't got long, but...
I said Man City beginning of the season.
Yeah, you're going to sit with them?
But the way the injuries have gone...
But probably by the time the knockout stages come around, they might all be fit again. Just about.
So I'm going to stick with City then.
OK. Glenn?
Oh, dear. Tough one. Just throw at us now. I'll say Barcelona.
Barcelona? Peter?
Well, Champions League or Premier League?
Champions League.
Juventus.
Juventus?
That's it.
11-1.
Well, we're out of time, so we've got to go, but thanks very much.
Got to stick with it.
Highlights to follow. Stay with us.